Yesterday, some disturbing news was brought to my attention out of the east coast of Canada, more specifically out of the province of Prince Edward Island, an island in the Gulf of St. Lawrence. But I'm going to go over what was made aware to me in 1 second. Stop by my local pastitsy shop. For people that don't know what a pastitsy is, it's a traditional Maltese pastry. And we have one of the best ones in Toronto, not too far from my house. Today I bought 2 meat and peas, and 1 cheese filled, and pre-made coffee.
Be here today, and what I want to drive home very briefly is I think the citizens of North America and the Western world now need to recognize the pattern recognition that reporting from myself, reporting on this excellent new book, and others, including reporting in the United States, is revealing to citizens that have had little idea of how extensive and pervasive the Chinese Communist Party's operations are, targeting North America and, alarmingly, Canada's smallest province. I'm here today because at the Bureau.news I have published a number of op-eds from Gary Clement and also Dean, focused on their research in PEI. Before that, I worked with Gary and Dean to publish my book, Willful Blindness, in 2021. It was very much focused on my own discovery of Chinese organized crime, underground banking, and the Chinese Communist Party through the United Front, and how a flood of shady money had washed into Canada's west coast and Vancouver and essentially captured major portions of the economy. I was focused on urban landscapes. My colleagues are focused mostly on rural landscapes. And let me say the patterns they have revealed in PEI are much the same as have been revealed in Oklahoma, Maine, across the United States, where we now hear in congressional testimonies the Chinese Communist Party and their Chinese crime networks have bought massive amounts of farmland near critical infrastructure and leveraged it into organized crime marijuana operations that are consistent with not only running weed money, but fentanyl money, human trafficking. All kinds of money is being laundered through American land, and the American government is now starting to take that seriously. As my colleagues have indicated, not yet has the Canadian government or the PEI government taken it seriously. So there's a bigger picture here, and also at the Bureau, I've been reporting in the theme of pattern recognition that the UK government is now undergoing a scandal in which it appears Labour leader Keir Starmer and his government have suppressed the flagship, the largest espionage case ever focusing on China, targeting their own parliament, in which Conservative MPs were allegedly targeted for information collection from Chinese threat networks. The case was cancelled. We're reading more and more about it in UK's media. And what I want to say is, I recognized it seems almost the exact same story that I exposed at Global News, the targeting of Canada's parliament, in which Justin Trudeau's government apparently pressed down on reporting from Canadian intelligence that was pointing most alarmingly to China's attacks of Conservative MPs, gathering information on MPs such as Michael Chan, and supporting more friendly MPs from other parties. Thanks. Those are my remarks today.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here. This is a culmination of a 2-year investigation. I want everybody to understand we didn't go looking for this. This investigation came to us. And what we found was money laundering, corruption, and elite capture at the highest levels. During our investigation, we had some brave citizens, islanders from Prince Edward Island that came forward and provided a depth of information that would provide for a law enforcement agency sufficient grounds to launch a criminal investigation. One of the things that we were able to look or ascertain was the amounts of money that was coming into the province was all in cash, consecutive $100 bills, brand new, in the amounts on a weekend of hundreds of thousands of dollars. This amounted to millions of dollars over the course of time that we looked into it, over the number of years that the monastery, Bliss and Wisdom, has been operating in Prince Edward Island. We were able to establish that the monastery has set up a network of corporations. And if you look at it from a point of view of money laundering, is what you would anticipate finding in an organized crime network. This monastery, if you look at it from a Dalai Lama's point of view, you would not anticipate finding corporations, land transfers, land flips, and citizens being paid under the table cash for residences and property. And that is what has happened in Prince Edward Island now for a period of a number of years, ever since the provincial nominee program came into existence and they were allowed in. The Master Jin Yan, who came into the province, it is our belief from our investigation that he's tied directly back to the PLC, or the Communist Party in China. In my experience, having worked both in Asia and from 91 to 94, having collaborated with Sam Cooper and had hours of discussion with him over the many years, I can tell you my view is that the PRC government, the only way to describe it is that they are the largest transnational organized crime group in the history of the world.
Well, there you have it. Sam Cooper and Gary Clement. Sam Cooper, a trusted, knowledgeable investigative journalist that's been in the game a long time. Gary Clement, the former national director of the RCMP. I would say two very credible people. I followed Sam Cooper for a little while now with quite a few of his informational videos, but Gary Clement, I didn't know who he was, but you know, RCMP. I believe what they're saying with regards to the Buddhist community out in PEI. I did a little research on the land they own out there. They own 1,300 acres in PEI. I've been all through PEI about 25 years ago. And it's not a very large geographical province. So 1,300 acres is quite a bit of land for one group of people to own. And I also saw the compounds that they built. Little they're like little cities, really. They're well built, but by what they're saying, it's all Communist Chinese Party money that is building them. And you're going to see in a video, I went by my local later on in this video, I went by my local Buddhist temple, which is literally a stone's throw from where I live, and it's at the end of my street where I grew up. And my parents got married at the church. Now is a Buddhist temple, and they're doing some pretty significant renovations and construction there, but you'll see that in a bit. So to point out what Sam said with regards to Keir Starmer covering up an investigation into the Chinese Communist Party in his country, possibly the largest corruption investigation in UK history, that's been covered up. Mark Carney, our installed Prime Minister, is well documented with being affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party. He doesn't raise any concerns about them whatsoever with regards to tariffs. He traveled to the UK 5 or 6 times since he's been in power, since the end of April, and it's to talk to Keir Starmer about, you know, what's their plan? What are they going to do with regards to China? And that's, I would imagine that's where they get their marching orders from, is when Carney goes over there. They obviously secure phone lines or secure internet is not always secure, so it's better to talk when you're talking of a criminal nature. It's better to talk in person, and that's the way I look at Keir Starmer and Mark Carney, and I knew that right from day one. I'm not under any illusion that either of them are above board. Right? They are completely owned and operated by the Chinese Communist Party. They want communism in both their countries. The UK is going towards communism. Canada's going towards communism. They're using radical Islamists to bring in mass chaos, so they can put in more speech laws. They can put more political dissidents in jail for posting memes and speech they deem hateful. So like I said in my video yesterday or the day before, they're using the mass immigration to destabilize our current infrastructures, our judicial infrastructures, our medical infrastructures, our legal infrastructures, our policing, our prison, all that, our prison infrastructure. All that is being compromised with the mass unsustainable influx of immigration, and they're allowing and inviting the worst of the worst. No skill set. They're criminals from all these different countries. They're accepting people that have been radicalized. They're accepting military age men that have seen extensive military combat, and they're letting them run loose in our country. They're not only letting them run loose, they're letting them organize and fly Palestinian flags and flags that are not Canadian flags, that are not British flags. They are allowing them to seize our country, our capital, our major streets. They pray in the intersections of streets. In Islamic countries, they don't do that. They don't pray in the middle of streets there. They just do it here to assert their dominance. And it's liberal communists facilitated. Liberal Communist Party of Canada is hand in hand, like I said before, with Antifa. They're hand in hand with all the alphabet mafia, the LGBTQ, the Every Child Matters movement. It's all liberal communist fabrication. And to get increasingly more people on board with that, to get the numbers on the street causing more violent chaos, so they can implement more laws, and they can out people like myself. They want people like myself to put themselves in illegal, vicarious situations by saying things that are potentially inflammatory, potentially illegal. They want people like me to go out and protest alongside right now the Palestinian pro-Hamas movement. They want people like me to go do that, and I might go do that. But they want rid of us so they can replace us with more compliant, more how do I put it, more violent people, really, so they can meet their ends. These people that are in charge of Canada, these people in charge of the UK, France, Germany, Australia, New Zealand, all the G7 countries, they are handpicked and installed for the level of evil that they possess, the level of vindictiveness that they possess. That's why they are put in place. No, they're morally bankrupt people. They, I don't know what dirt they have on these people, but it's very, very damning, very damning dirt they have on these people, and pretty much they'll do anything. So that's where we're at. And it's going to get continually worse. Like I said, you know, our country is financially ruined thanks to the liberals and the Chinese Communist Party. Trump is going to buy us up. Hopefully he can keep the Chinese Communist Party at bay, but I doubt it. Based on what's all coming together, from what I'm researching and from what I'm seeing, Trump is he's just a speed bump again. Once Trump is gone, you know, it doesn't matter. J.D. Vance, you know, they were saying Charlie Kirk was going to be the president in 2028. It doesn't matter. The Chinese Communist Party, in conjunction with all the corrupt politicians they've installed throughout the world, they're unstoppable in my estimation. So it's, you know, I don't know. It's, well, I do know. It's going to end very, very badly. So behind me, there's a Buddhist temple being renovated. And this used to be an Anglican church. This is literally about a 4 or 5 minute walk from my house. So my parents actually got married at that church back in 1956. The street that I grew up on is just, I don't know, 100 feet away from here. So I obviously have known this Buddhist temple to be here for quite some time, and I've obviously noticed that they're doing renovations and making it look more like a Buddhist temple. Now, this leads me to speculate, how are they getting the money for this? And what are these Buddhist temples peppered throughout Canada? And it seems to be their hub of activity is in Prince Edward Island, 1,300 acres. They have a huge Buddhist compound there, a monastery. It's massive. And the level of corruption that has been identified by Sam Cooper and Gary Clement, it would appear that all Liberal parties involved in Prince Edward Island are compromised. So what's actually happening at this Buddhist temple? Could it be just Buddhists praying to their god? Or could it be something a little more nefarious placed there by the Chinese Communist Party? That's an expensive construction project. So land, construction, very, very costly these days. We all know that. So it leads me to believe, or gets me thinking, it's thought-provoking at the very least that, you know, what's going on in here. Anyhow, what say you? Leave it in the comment section, and let me know what you think about the Chinese Communist Party infiltration into Canada, and especially the Carney Liberals that are facilitating this, and probably more or less, well, most likely are corrupted to the core as well. We're in deep trouble in this country, people. Very deep trouble. Thanks for watching. Bye.